Let's see. And welcome to the Coach's Corner. We've got a special guest with us. We got two special guests, but we have a local guy from right down the road from Blue Ridge High School over in Taylor, South Carolina. I actually called a football game this year. I broadcast a football game live with Blue Ridge and Broome.
Okay.
And they didn't claim they didn't have enough room in the press box, and I had to broadcast from the stands. And it rained that night. The first time it rained the whole football season, I had to broadcast out there. But I haven't been to Blue Ridge, gosh, in forever. When I was coaching at Bowling Springs High School, we used to scrimmage them back in the day, though. But welcome to the Coach's Corner, Justin.
Thank you.
All right, Justin, let me get your graphic up here for you. We've got your name to go along with your picture here. We'll take this one down here, and we'll get yours up right here. So there he goes. So everybody will know who you are now. So we've got you on here, though. All right, let's just talk a little about your career with Upstate. First question is, what attracted you to go play at USC Upstate?
Well, for one, it's close to home. And also just the coaching, the recruiting. Coach D kind of took me in and, he told me straight up, he's going to coach me and tell it whether I like it or not. And that's the only thing you can ask for in a coach is for them to be up front and honest. And that's just what we have all the way down from the head coach down to our assistants. And they've worked with me, and that's what I've liked the most about it.
And again, I guess that was something that when I coached with my players, I didn't sugarcoat it. That I pretty much sometimes told you what you didn't want to hear, but I told it like it is. And I think that's the way you need to operate with anybody, even in life sometimes, that people probably don't like me because I'm going to let you know what I think, what I'm doing. And, you're stuck with what you see is what you get.
Yes, sir.
Is what I tell them, though. All right, you came in last year. You had a really good freshman season. You were 3 times named freshman of the week and all, and you finished on the all-conference freshman team, though. But just tell a little bit about your first year playing at Upstate. How was that?
It was definitely an experience. Thank God for it. It was a lot of cherishable moments for sure. I learned a lot, especially from those guys that were, being older. Took a liking to Jordan Gainey. He kind of took me under his wing. I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from guys like Mr. Kai. Guys aren't there anymore, but I think just because the amount of seniors that we had on that team, I was able to learn a lot in a short span of time, which helped during the season and overall allowed me to, produce.
Okay, so you finish up your freshman year on a positive note. Let's see, you turn down a little. There's a little distortion, so I'm going to turn down my sound a little bit on my mics there. So my producer in the truck out there is checking it out. So hopefully, Alan, that's a little bit better. Let me know if it's not, and we'll get it fixed. So, all right, you go into this season right now, a lot of things. You lost some of the senior players. Gainey went to go play up there with his father, and he's having a very successful year up there. So you come in preseason. I think you're preseason second team all-conference going into the season there, though. A lot of big expectations. So how do you feel about your upcoming season?
Coming in felt really good, with the pieces that we've had from the all season to now. I think now it's just about putting the pieces together. From our record from now, it's just a span of a couple of possessions, and we're, like Coach said today during practice, we're probably top 4, top 5 teams, but it just comes down to those couple of possessions and cleaning it up.
You just have not had hardly any breaks go your way this year, and every time we talked about this last week when I was talking with Trey and with Coach last week too, about that every team goes through adversity, and you're going through that adversity right now.
Yes, sir.
But you hang in there, stay the course. That good things are out there. Just if you keep working hard, though. So, do you feel like this season that you've had a lot of people that maybe last year they were not really familiar did not know you as a freshman, but you think teams are more game planning towards trying to shut you down this year?
I believe so. Yes, sir. They definitely have me on their list for sure, just because of my shot making ability and catching and shooting. But I have to persevere through that. Find ways to continue to score and produce for my team, offensively and defensively as well, and continue to be a leader.
Okay, because I know last year that probably Jordan got most of the attention. And, again, you being a freshman, they didn't know about you and Trey. But now they've seen what you've done right there, though, and kind of really have turned it up, though. So what ways have you worked, or what are you currently trying to work on as far as producing your points and things like that, looking for ways to score?
One way is just trying to differentiate when I need to catch and shoot, when the ball gets past me, when I need to catch and shoot at the proper time. To get my feet set, and then also just attacking the basket more, getting to the free throw line, and just getting easy buckets, making it easier on our team, not settling. I think that's what I've been trying to work on the most.
And that's one thing that when I played, if my shot was not falling, then I looked for I took it to the basket. I would try to get the free throw line.
Yes, sir.
Because
yes,
that's one thing that free throws. I was a guru free throw shooter. I shot almost 90% from the line for my career because that's all I ever shot. Because to me, that's the most important shot in basketball because that's the only shot you will get in a game that nobody can defend you.
It's free.
It's free. It's free.
Yep.
So my motto in life is if it's free, give me three. So, but right now, I think you're currently 28 for 84. You're shooting 34% from the three-point line, and you're currently sitting good at 53 for 71 for 75% from the line. So, what do you feel like are your strong points in your game?
Getting to the basket and definitely catching and shooting corner threes, arc shooting, and defense. Take pride in defense, playing the best guards in this league. This conference is very competitive this year. Last year it was. So defensively, I think that's one of my biggest traits.
Okay, and it's got to be hard too because there are a few big men. You got Pembers, and you got team you're going to be playing Wednesday night, and a couple others that have brought in a big 6'10" or 6'11" guy. But this is predominantly a guard-friendly league right here for there, where there's a lot of good guards that play in this league.
Yep.
So, all right, what do you think you still need to work on as far as your game? What would you like to get better at, or what are some things that you still think you need to do?
I got to continue to be a better leader vocally, I think. I don't think I'm talking enough offensively, defensively, and just encouraging my teammates, I feel like I need to get back to being the happy and joyous person that I was last year.
Yep.
We talked about that a lot. Going through adversity, things aren't going your way. It's definitely tough having joy at times, but that's the only way that you don't allow energy to just sit there. It's got to be contagious. We talked about that, and I think I got to do a better job of doing that. And I just got to keep producing and making free throws. 75%, that's not good enough. It's not good enough. Me personally, that's not good enough. So getting to the line, I got to knock them down, plain and simple.
Well, that's one thing. When I played, nobody else touched the ball at the end of the game. I wanted it in my hands because I wanted to go to the line and knock those free throws down. But that was one thing, that is important to knock those free throws down. All right. Everybody says South Carolina's a football state. South Carolina's a basketball state, in my opinion, right here. What attracted you to play in basketball? Because, everybody says you ought to play football. You ought to play football. No, you shouldn't. In my opinion, if you want to, that's fine. But I have always loved basketball in this state.
Well, I really had no choice growing up. It was a movie that came out when I was smaller called Concussion with Will Smith. So my parents made it very quickly. Once we watched that there was no football in the house at all, so the closest I played football was flag football. But once they made it clear that you're not touching pads, um, I just started working in basketball, and I liked basketball growing up. Been playing basketball since I was 2 years old. I've loved sports, but I just kind of found my niche in middle school, and I started taking it seriously. Eighth grade summer, I just kind of springed off and started working my butt off, and one thing led to another, and I've been sticking with it ever since.
What did you, as a little boy, what did you do when you would go out and practice in the yard? What kind of things did you do to develop your game?
I do a lot of form shots, and when shots weren't falling, just learning to chase the ball, learning to go get the ball, having fun. A lot of free throws, and a lot of I had a big imagination too, so I would just act like I was, down 2 or down 3. Got to hit the big shot.
The countdown shots.
Do it. And if I missed it, I'd do it all over again.
Yep.
So I was just having fun with it, and but yeah, just loved it.
Well, see, back then in the day with me, that was I didn't play in the peach baskets. I was mine did have a rim in there, but I had my little games. I lived out in the country where I didn't have anybody in the neighborhood or anything. My brother and sister both played basketball at USC Upstate. Also, all three of us did there. So, I would play against them, and my sister used to be taller than me, and she posted me up, and that was no fair. But I finally got bigger with her, and then I won all the one-on-one games. And my brother was 5 years older, but he used to take me to go play with his friends 5 years older, and really that probably I thank him even today for that opportunity to play. But when I play with myself, I'd go outside every day, and I would play. I had a street light right next to my court, and I would play until dark.
Yep.
I got the big A-frame step ladder, and that's what I practiced all the time, shooting over the ladder. Now, I had trees around my court, so I practiced dribbling the ball coming off the tree was my screen. I used to get bark burns on my shoulders practicing coming off the screen, off the tree to put the shots up there. But you got to do that. And I played the countdown games many a time. And, in my mind, it was amazing that I actually, in one season, hit like 3 or 4 buzzer beaters. A couple of them from half court on that, because I had I'd grown up practicing that though. So, but kids don't do that today. That I walk into a gym, and when I used to coach or teach PE too, with that, the kids come in, the guards start jacking up threes, and the big men start working on their dunks, and nobody ever shoots a free throw. And that's why you see the free throws the way they are today.
Exactly. And I think it's also important, also coming up, I'm playing older guys as well. I think I kind of made that a point. I grew up around a lot of older guys. I wanted to play older guys, 2-on-2, 3-on-3s, 1-on-1s, being able to score in a less amount of dribbles, knowing that you're not going to have that many dribbles in a game.
No, you don't.
So, that's what helped me as well, too.
Okay, but that was, and plus, if you grew up with older guys, in my case of my brother, all the guys were 5 years older than me. We would go and play football. We had a guy who, one of his friends had a lot of money and actually lined his front yard, huge front yard, it's bigger than this building here, lined it for football on Saturday. So we play Saturday during football season, we play football, and he had his own big paved basketball court in the back there. But, I was little. I was in junior high school. They were in high school, and I couldn't get those guys down and tackle football, but I'd grab them by the leg and hold on until somebody could come finish them off. But the thing was, I didn't want to ever embarrass my my big brother, because he's nice enough to take me, that I had to be tough even though I was hurting and getting knocked around. But I still appreciate that even today. All right. What do you think sets basketball apart from other sports?
I think basketball, it's fast-paced, and it just brings – you meet a lot of people. I've met people from all over the world from basketball. Some of my best friends have came from basketball. But that's one thing I like about it, though. It's very fast-paced. And it's just a lot going on, I think, and I love the speed of the game as well.
What drills do you think are a necessity for building your skills?
Definitely a lot of catch and shoot drills, a lot of dribbling, weight, the heavy set ball. Coach Garcia, we work on that, and just touch at the rim as well. Layups, right hand, left hand. Just not forgetting the basics.
I had a JV coach that probably was one of the best coaches I ever had. He's deceased now, though. But we used to do the miking drill every day. And the tip drill, the 5 tips, and you tip it in on the other one with both hands. And I look back, that's something I took with me. And we'd set up a chair at the free throw line, and you'd have to catch it, the ball, go take it, dribble around the chair, lay it up hard both ways. And just little things like that I carried that through with me throughout my coaching career right there, too. All right, you've had to step up this year with Jordan being gone, some other guys, to be one of the leaders of this team. What do you feel like your leadership qualities are, or what kind of leadership do you bring to the team this year?
I think just encouraging the guys is the biggest. Just letting them know that it's okay. Like, we're human. We're going to make mistakes. But just don't let those mistakes affect us on the next possession. Get back up. It's okay. Just being vocal with them and letting them know it's all right to make mistakes. Just when they mess up, seeing a guy with a smile on their face that's going to pat their back, dap them up and tell them, next play.
Got to have a short memory out
Exactly.
there, though. Okay. All right. How do you work? What do you do, or how do you work to be a good teammate for your team?
Like I said before, being vocal defensively and offensively. I still have to continue to get better at that as well. But also just defensively. Like I said, I take pride in that as well. And knocking down shots when I need to knock down shots.
What's the best advice anybody ever gave you about playing basketball or anything? It can be about life.
Best advice probably is from my dad. Just always telling me, just go with the flow. Like you said, you got to have a short memory.
Yep.
You're going to make mistakes. It happens. And, he's always told me, you worked your butt off, He done seen me countless of times in the backyard, in the front yard, times where I'd run up and down the street. He's like, I done see you put the work in, so just trust in yourself. Just trust yourself.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite play to run?
As of right now, probably Horns Chop.
Okay.
Horns Chop.
Does that result in you getting a shot out of it?
Sometimes here
Okay.
and there, yeah.
I used to have a set play that we ran to start every game. And it was a play that we got with my best athlete. That he was a outstanding football player, and also a great basketball player. He went on and played at University of North Carolina. He was an all-ACC receiver, but he also turned around and when football season was over, went and played basketball for the Tar Heels. And he got a national championship ring in basketball, a Final Four ring, and he got another ring for playing football. But he went in that first day for workouts after they had the football season was over and to play, and dunked over Sean May. I don't know, he's one of the assistant coaches there, went down and dunked over him. But we had a play that we'd run, and it was we run a back pick, alley-oop, for a dunk to start every game. But the other thing that I used to do, too, that was the 5-man set the back pick. But I also taught my 5-man that in my offense, everybody's a shooter. My 5s could shoot the 3, and they had a green light. So when the second time that we play everybody, we ran the same play, and when the teams double-teamed him and shifted over, then my big man stepped back and popped the 3, and we were up 3-0 to start the game. So we had a lot of fun with that play. That we use that one a lot there, though. All right. You get a lot of pressure in a game. How do you manage pressure in a ball game?
Just like I said, believing in myself. I'm young, yes, but I've played a lot of games. Things happen. Like, it's not going to be, sunshine and roses and a cakewalk. That's not basketball. Just having a short-term memory, keeping my cool, and knowing the reason why I play this game.
Okay. Do you have any superstitions? or any things that when I played, and you won't even know who this is, and the coach probably will. There was a guy, one of the greatest players ever, named Pete Maravich. And I had my floppy socks that I had to wear, my good luck socks, though. But do you have anything that that Nick was telling me? I think he's got a favorite pair of socks that he wears too. But anything superstitions, or do you have any kind of pregame rituals that you go through before you play to get you jacked up to play?
For one, I'm starting to like the band. I always got to wear a band for games. I also just make it a big emphasis probably to pray before every game for sure. That's one thing that I've always done, and it won't stop.
And that's great. That's what it's all about, because the good Lord gives you the talent and ability. That's one thing that I try to keep in perspective for our whole team, that we don't take any glory for the game, because the good Lord gives you the opportunity and the skills and talent to play it. And if you keep that priority in the right place, you're going to be successful in basketball and in the game of life, though. Last thing I want to ask you here is, before we get to our fun questions, that is if somebody, a lot of people in here, I don't know if you've been to Sugar and Spice before, but if somebody walked in and looked at you and wondered who he is, what would be the most important thing you'd want them to know about you?
Well, for one, that I attend USC Upstate, play
Okay.
on the men's basketball team, but I'm human just like them. I'm a happy guy. I like to have fun. I'm always smiling, and I just have a great conversation with them.
Okay.
I treat them like they're human as well.
And I want to throw one more in for you, that you pray before the ball games. That would be something I would tell everybody, because I think that's great. I like that. All right, these are either or questions real quick. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Okay, tails never fails. If you look at the coin tosses, and I took a class of probability and statistics at USC Upstate back in the day, science proves that tails comes up more than heads. So if you ever got to make that coin toss, go tails. Tails never fails. All right, dress shoes or tennis shoes?
Tennis shoes.
All right, and I don't know if you know these cartoon characters and all. Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. Do you ever know who those were?
I've seen them before.
Roadrunner goes meep meep.
Yep.
Wile E. Coyote catches him. Which one do you like better?
Roadrunner.
I got to go with Wile E. Coyote. That guy has persevered. He's gotten blown up, thrown off of cliffs, everything. I wish one time he could just catch that bird. Give him, throw the guy. I know, but they got to throw him a bone sometime. I mean, that man gets knocked down every cartoon. All right, would you rather go fast or would you rather go up high?
Up high.
Okay. Do you have any fears? Anything you're scared of?
Snakes.
I don't like snakes either.
Like
You got to watch out for them no-necks, that they'll come out, especially when you're on the golf course. All right. Let's see right here what else we can throw at you, right, from other things on here. Do you like cola or tea?
Tea.
ACC or SEC?
That's a tough one.
If you're like me, ACC basketball, SEC football is what I go with.
yeah. But SEC basketball, they starting to.
It's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go SEC.
I got you. That I work with both of them doing broadcasts. Would you rather go hunting or fishing?
I've been fishing before. I want to go hunting. I want to do that one time.
Okay. All right. Would you rather hit the jackpot, the lottery, win the lottery, or find a soulmate in life?
Find a soulmate in life.
Okay. I asked this question at the Big South Media Days, and I asked one of the girls from PC that same question. She said, I want to hit the lottery. Said, I can buy a soulmate after that. I said, be careful what you buy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think I'd rather have the soulmate, too, because money isn't always happiness. All right, right here. Are you a pizza guy or tacos?
Pizza for sure.
Okay. Would you rather go to a fair or theme park?
Theme park.
Okay. See, French fries or baked potato?
French fries.
Okay. Let's see what else we've got. on here we can go with? A few things. Gold or silver?
Gold.
Are you a night owl or are you an early bird?
Early bird.
I cannot get up. I would be embarrassed to tell you what time I got up today. All I'll say is that when I was a teacher and coach, I had to get up like at 5 to be at school a certain time to do duties and all. And I'm getting even now. I'll put it this way, that you probably have been to either 2 or 3 classes at Upstate before I even get up. So I'll leave it at that. All right. Are you a dress-up guy or a casual guy? Are you a GQ guy that likes to dress up or casual? Okay. Batman or Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Okay. Spider-Man or Superman?
No, Spider-Man again.
All right. Do you like spicy food or mild food?
Spicy.
Okay. Are you a saver or a big spender?
So I was a big spender last year, but now I'm a saver now.
Yeah, I'm a big spender. Now I'm broke. So, okay. Let's see. Would you rather have a boat or jet ski?
Jet ski.
All right. That's something I want to try sometime. And last but not least, an old car or a classic car or a new car?
Classic.
Classic. Okay. All right. Well, our special guest today on the Coach's Corner has been Justin Bailey. Hopefully you've learned a lot more about him, though. But enjoyed watching you play. Look forward to you to getting things going this year. You've had a good season so far, and I'm sure there's that you're looking forward to the second time around. Is when you play some of these people is getting. That's one good thing I like about basketball is you get a second chance.
Exactly.
And that's one thing as a coach that we played every time. I think every time that we lost to a team first time, we played them, either beat them or played them really, really well second time around. Because I used to study that film. It's funny. I knew the film. Spartan High was one of our big rivals back then. That I knew their plays better than they did. Matter of fact, I took a couple of them and put them in my playbook, and we beat them with their plays.
Oh, man.
So we had out-of-bounds play that I took the idea from them, and we scored off of that. Or I'd yell, they'd call out a play, and I'll say, that's our so-and-so, and would yell it out to them. Or they'd call Georgia Tech, and we'd beat the guy to the spot on the floor where it's supposed to be. So, yeah, it makes a big difference, though. But I'm sure the Spartans, like we are going to get through the fight through the adversity now, and you're going to be right there. The bottom line is whoever wins the tournament at the end of the year goes to the big dance, not the team that wins regular season.
Exactly.
So, Justin, appreciate you being with us and look forward to seeing you play. I've got your ESPN Plus game on Wednesday night, so I'll have to get some plugs out. I'm going to share some of this information we talked about today. So we'll be back in just a minute. You're watching the Coach's Corner coming from the Sugar and Spice. We'll be back with our coaches segment in just a minute, though.
Run up on me.
And welcome back to the Cox Sports Coach's Corner, coming to you live from the Sugar and Spice Restaurant here on Pine Street. This is the Shrine on Pine is one of the things that they are called right here. We've got assistant coach Drew Garcia is going to be doing our coaches segment with us today. Well, Coach, welcome to the Coach's Corner.
Thank you. Thank you for
Fasten
having
your
me.
seat belts and we'll get ready to go.
All right.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about you right now.
Okay.
Now, you are from Pittsburgh, right?
That's right.
How did a
Yep.
Pittsburgh guy get all the way down to South Carolina right now?
Well, I've known Coach Dickerson for a long time. I mean, I played for him
At Tulane.
At Tulane, yep, when he was the head coach there, and we always have kept in touch. And obviously, I got into coaching pretty much right after I played for him, and been in Division II, Division III, Division I, and now things come full circle, and got to come and work for him here when he got the job here 5 years ago. So,
Okay.
Yep.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit right now about you. We said you played basketball at Tulane, but
Yep.
a lot of people don't know you started your career as a walk-on football player at Pitt. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, he's well, I went to high school right across the street from Pitt, and my high school, Pittsburgh Central Catholic, is a big-time football school, and so I didn't really get recruited for basketball. Could have went to some Division II teams or walked on, a couple different places, but I decided to go play football right in my backyard, and played with a guy named Larry Fitzgerald my freshman year, who he almost won the Heisman that year.
I remember him.
Yeah. So it was a good ride. I always loved basketball a lot more, honestly, growing up. I heard you talking with Justin Bailey about guys from South Carolina usually, at least test football, and that's the way Western Pennsylvania is. And if you're any kind of athlete, they're going to throw a helmet on you and some shoulder pads and see what you can do, and that's kind of the way my life was. But I always loved basketball more, and I always had the itch to go play college basketball.
And in a lot of ways, people, the biggest misconcept about basketball is not a contact sport. Yeah, let them go into paint. Right. Ask Justin about that, taking the ball to the basket in the Big South, if it's a contact sport or not, though. Right. But it is. Basketball's like indoor football with no equipment, because you go diving for loose balls and all that fun stuff like that. Well, when you played football, what positions you play?
I played wide receiver most of my career. In high school, I played a little defense, but not much. And then I played wide receiver throughout, my career. After my freshman year, we just went 2 platoon, and I played wide receiver. I wasn't very fast, but I could catch.
There you go. Well, what attracted you to playing basketball? What did you initially get your interest in basketball?
Oh, that was always my sport growing up. I have 3 brothers, and we just always played basketball growing up. That was my dad got us into it, and we just always in the house, outside, every time. It was always the choice sport, and we played other things too. But my oldest brother loved Michael Jordan, had posters all over the walls and everything, and that's really when I fell in love with it, when he was winning his championships in the early 90s, and it got me going. I always had the love for it from there.
Well, it was, and I've told this story many a time, it was Frank McGuire at South Carolina with John Roach and all the New York connection, Tom Owens, Reebok, Riker, and they were the fighting Gamecocks back then. Okay. And they not only would they beat you, but they'd outbrawl you on the court too. Yeah. And that got me. I wanted to be John Roach growing up. I always wore number 11. That was his number, and then when he went to the New York Nets, he changed to 13, and then 13 became my permanent number after that, and that's my good luck number today. That I had nobody wanted 13, thinking it was a jinx. 13's my lucky number.
Well, yeah, that's a good. Steve Nash too. That was one of my favorite players while I was in high school and college, and he's one of the best point guards of all time. He wore 13 as well.
Okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about your job right now. You are the associate head coach at USC Upstate. Tell me what the associate – I was an assistant coach at USC Upstate all the way back in 1979, 80 during that time. I want to know, what are your responsibilities? One of them is coming today and being our guest, though, but just tell us what all you have to do every day.
Well, I primarily ran the offense for the past couple years. I think for the past 4 years I've done that. So that's still my main responsibility, and making sure that we're organized on that end of the court, and and then scheduling is another big thing. I've taken over. The associate title kind of just came this year. All it means is that I've been here the longest, and I've been here since Dave got here. Took the job, and and I'm still here six seasons later. So that's really it. I think really thankful for Coach Dickerson naming me that in the off season. But besides that, it's a lot of the same responsibilities as has been in the past.
What are your aspirations on being a head coach someday?
I'd love to be a head coach again. You know, I was in Division III. I was a head coach at Chatham University in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And it was an all-female school, and I came in and started the men's program in 2015. So, love to get back into that seat at some point in my life. But you know, it's a different level. You know, jumping from Division III to Division I. So I'm still learning and figuring it out every day. So, but one day, hopefully, we'll get back there.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay. Some of the other things there too is I'm sure involves in recruiting right there. Just tell me a little bit about that, about how hard it's gotten now with recruiting, with the transfer portal and everything involved in that. And, you know, it's that the Big South is primarily a guard-oriented league with a few big men, though. How hard is it to get a big man today in college basketball?
Well, you know, it's used to be that you had to, at our level, you had to find somebody who was, you know, maybe a little under-recruited because he was skinny or you know, not well polished enough or a little bit out of shape or something, and you had to work with him and keep him for a few years. And now it's kind of changed where, you know, you're still trying to find guys and keep them, but you know, getting them out of the portal is a little bit tougher because any big guy in the portal that has any type of success in any other college is going to get, you know, some NIL money or go to a higher level. So you got to get a little bit lucky and understand who they are before you get them. And they may not have stats at the last place that they played. You know, and we talked before we got on air about Drew Pember. I mean, he's player of the year in our league, but he didn't play at Tennessee. And so Asheville did a good job of evaluating and understanding that he could come in and be that type of guy. And then probably got a little lucky as well that, you know, he turned into that player. So, you know, you still got to recruit him out of the portal. You gotta understand who you are getting, and know that at a place like Upstate you might not get a guy that has really good stats from the last place.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, I guess this philosophy still goes. I know whenever I was coaching, you could never have enough big men. You can never have enough shooters. And is that pretty much roster-wise what y'all look for too? In that, and I remember a long time ago I went to one of Coach K, spent a weekend up there and their philosophy was that they tried to recruit the best big man and the best point guard every year, and they fill in the rest of the roster with great athletes and all. So I know there's a lot of different things you look at when you recruit there, though.
Yeah, well, personally, I always look for three things. One is shooting, especially out of the guards, but I look for length. I look for guys who have long wingspans and jump ability and versatility, and then a high motor, which just got off the air with a guy that brings the high motor, Justin Bailey. Yeah, so like, you know, those three things. If you can shoot, you can do all three. You shoot, you have some length, and you have a high motor. I think you can be successful regardless of the position. So that's always personally been what I'm looking for, and then Coach Dickerson just always preaches that we need to know who they are before they come, you know, as far as character goes and toughness, being able to, you know, move on to the next play and you know, even if you lose, come in the next day and get back to the grind and you know, so that's kind of always been our philosophy, whether the portal's involved or high school guys or prep school guys or junior college guys. That's what we're looking for.
Okay, I'm a 6'9" guard forward who can rain threes all day long, and I got a high motor. Recruit me. Tell me why I should come play for you at USC Upstate.
Well,
give me your best recruiting pitch.
Well, you're going to play, first of all, because you know, we haven't had a guy like that just yet at Upstate. But no, this is a league, like you said, that is very high paced and guard oriented, and if you can do all those things that you just said, you're going to be a Drew Pember for us. There's a chance you win the league. You win the league for us, and you're player of the year. So if you don't want success, then you don't want to come here because, you know, we want to take that next step that, like, we've been we've been that close the last couple years. We've been to the semifinal. We've lost to the team that has won the league, and so we're just missing one guy or one play, or and I think you're the one that can do it for us.
Okay, I've got my pen right here. Where do I sign that? Right there. I'll go ahead and sign that right there, though. But, yeah, and I mean, another thing, too, is that people don't realize that Upstate has put people in the league, too.
No question.
That, when you've got, the people who've come through. I know I had 3 guys that I coached and were good friends of mine. That one played with the Harlem Globetrotters. He's the associate commissioner of the league now. And another one that was the first-round draft choice of the then Washington Bullets now. And another one on that same team was second-round draft choice that same year for the Bullets, though.
Wow.
So you can go on and play at the next level. And, I've had several of them that have gone on from there that have done real well, though. So
Torrey Craig as well.
Yeah, Torrey Craig's who I was thinking. I couldn't think of his name. Yeah, but he did real well, though.
Still doing it. And then not just the NBA, but, in recent years we've had guys who, Bryson Mozone, who's playing overseas now, and I think he's in Slovakia, and Josh Aldrich was in Israel before all the conflict went down this year, and Dalvin White was over there, Malik Moore is on the Harlem Globetrotters now. So we've had recent guys that have come and played at Upstate and moved on to pro careers.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Wednesday night's game here. That you are playing a High Point team, which I think was picked preseason. I didn't get a chance to look, but at either near the bottom preseason or whatever. But this team, with a new coach coming in this year, they have just come out of nowhere. And they've won 8 in a row, won their 8th straight game. I think they're 15-4 now. They're ranked 13th in the mid-division colleges right there. Who in the world woke this crowd up? What are they doing that looks good? So,
well, they're scoring. I mean, that's the biggest thing with them. Their offense is high-powered, high-paced. They're big. They're able to protect the rim and rebound offensively and defensively. So they've benefited from the transfer portal, as we've already talked about, and brought in guys who are experienced and some high major guys. So it's not a surprise when you actually sit down and watch them and see who they brought in. It's just that there was kind of an unknown to them before the season, where new staff and all new players, pretty much. That's probably why they were picked a little bit lower than what they deserved. But they're showing it right now. I think it's the 5th longest win streak they're on right now in the nation.
I believe so.
It's 8 in a row. So they're playing at a high level right now, and we gotta figure out how to stop them. Okay, now their leading scorer is a guy who transferred from Troy, Duke Miles. Right there, though. He's averaging almost 20 a game, 19 plus a game right now. But he did not play last game. I don't know if it's injury, illness, or discipline, or what it was, though. But they took the guy who is their spark plug. I think his name is Griffa. Griffa.
Giffa. Okay, Giffa there. And he comes in, starts his first game of the year out of the 20, and lo and behold, scores 29. And so they had one score 29 and had another guy score 26. But they're averaging almost 5 players in double figures right now. But one thing I've noticed about them, too, is they're not playing a whole lot of players. Now, how have they been able to manage? They're probably only going like 7, maybe 8 deep every game from playing like that, though. Is that a team that depth could be a possibility of trying to explore on Wednesday, or what? What have you seen from that?
Well, yeah, you're completely right. They're not going too deep into their bench, but they're also a team that they execute. That's one of the things that if they're running their stuff at their pace, they're a very, very good executing team. They're making all their reads. They're coming off these screens, flying and ready to be aggressive. So we got to do our best to disrupt them and not let them get into a rhythm, because they're a team that's just going to out execute you if you play a half court game with them. And for us, we've been talking about the last couple of days just our pace. We play better on both ends of the floor when our pace is high and we're playing with a lot of energy, and guys are coming in and out of the game knowing that whatever we do offensively, we're going to fly around and we're going to really come off and be aggressive. And then on the other end, on the defensive end, we're going to play with a lot of energy, which we've been doing a lot better since conference play started. Since the Asheville game, we've just had a lot of activity and a lot of good hands on the ball and deflections and helping each other and trying to do our best to get on the boards, and so we've got to play that way against this team, because if we don't, they can run it up on us.
Okay, well, that takes me to my next question. My biggest weakness, and when I look back at coaching, and I knew this even back then and all, was substitutions. Mm-hmm. That I would fall in love with the five on the floor. That there was many a game. My point guard was All-State,
right.
And he went on and ended up playing professionally overseas. Was the first month was the rookie of the month for the first month, and jersey was retired at SAC 8 conference in Newberry, right there too. But he played the whole game lots of times, though. Mm-hmm. How do you substitute? How do y'all do your substitution right there? Any kind of pattern? Because that was something that I was really weak at, was that, again, I felt like at times that even my tired player out there may be better than who I was going to put in the bench.
Right.
And I didn't want to break up. I didn't want to screw up if it was going good. Yeah. You never want to take somebody out if you're playing pretty good. Yeah. I didn't want to screw it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And no, it's something we break down as a staff a lot. And, one of the things we're trying to do recently is, with Trey Broadnax and Justin Bailey playing such high minutes, just trying to get them breaks in a timely fashion, using the media timeouts. And, if we look up and, we see there's, 12 and change on the clock in either half, maybe get them a quick one, sub, and then the next dead ball, that a media timeout's coming, and we can either get those guys right back in, or we can sit them another minute and give them a good rest, and then get them back when the time's appropriate. So, that's one thing, especially with our high-minute guys. But it is a delicate balance, you're right, because if guys are playing well, if Justin just hit a couple shots, or Trey got to the free throw line a couple times, or, Amir Langley is really hurting them inside, then you don't want to take them out of that groove. So you got to be diplomatic about it and understand who you guys are as players and what they can respond to.
The chemistry is so important that I was always scared to want to screw it up.
No doubt.
And I guess my philosophy to my players was, the message I sent to them was, make me play you.
Right.
Make me see something why I need to put you in the ball game.
Absolutely.
And heaven knows that if I put, my starters got a good lead and put the other guys in the bench, which I did. I tried to play everybody's final score deficits. Didn't bother me. But if I put the subs in and they got out there and started clowning around, and I yanked them back out. I said, these guys have worked too hard to get this lead for you to go out there and goof it up.
Right.
And I sent that message right there too. But that was something I've just wondered about there since you've been a head coach and assistant there on if Coach Dickerson does it, or one of you kind of monitors and helps make the substitutions with that.
It's mainly Coach Dickerson, but we chirp in his ear as the game goes on, especially with foul trouble and things of that nature. You always want to know who needs to get out if they're hacking a little bit too much. But yeah, it's mostly Coach D, and we have input during the timeouts and during the breaks.
All right. Offensive guru over here. What is your philosophy on attacking full court pressure? How would you attack full court pressure?
Full court pressure. I'm always a big try to break it and be aggressive, because there's always a little lull with the defense to either get rematched real quick if they're trapping, or if they're in a zone and falling back in the man, then there's always a lull. And so, like, if you can look up the court and attack, or if you break it and you quickly get into your action, you might catch the defense, as they're trying to get matched, and you can gain an advantage on that. So I'm more on the aggressive end.
I used to love teams that pressed us, and there was one team that would press you the whole ball game, and we would spend we never practiced half-court offense for that game, but we just worked on the press breaker and all. And I remember the last time we played them, they pressed us the whole game, and we scored 118.
There you go.
On that, similar to the team you played earlier in the season, Coker,
yep.
right there, though.
Yep.
But what we would do against that full court pressure, that we had the two people here, we would go hit the guard, and immediately the weak side guard would banana cut in the front of the defensive players right up the middle. Guy who threw it in bounds went laterally to the other side, and we'd either hit the guy up the middle right there, but if the defense went with him, then they couldn't double team you anymore.
Right.
So he's either going to be open or he's not.
Right.
Or if the thing didn't work that way, then we reversed it back, threw it back across to the guy who threw it in on the other side of the court, and that was usually my 3-man who took it out for full court pressure, and then he'd make the quick pass, and we go 2-on-1, 3-on-2, or 3-on-1 the rest of the way right there, though. And we used to practice, too, against full court pressure. That what I would do would make the teams that were really good, I'd put 6 on defense or 7, and I'd take away, and our guys would have to play 5 against 7 to break the press. And then we put the rules in: you can't dribble.
Ooh, wow, yeah.
No dribbles allowed. That you can only pass it to get it up the court too. So those were things that we did back in that was back in the peach basket days there. All right, I know I don't want to keep you all night, but we could talk basketball all night. But just tell us a little bit about what you think the keys are going to be. I'm stealing information for the ESPN Plus game here, right here. What do you see the keys to the game against High Point being?
Well, High Point is, like I already mentioned, they're such a good executing team in the half court, probably the best we've seen, that we got to somehow take them out of their rhythm and don't let them just walk it up and run their stuff. We got to be disruptive, and whether that means we're picking them up a little bit or showing them a little different something on each possession. I won't get specific, but we can't just let them be who they are as an executing team. So that's number one. Number two, we got to keep them off the glass. They're so big, and they have their 7-footer, and they have that's just their 4-man who's coming from Mississippi State, and they're all over the glass. They're really good on that end, and so we got to do a good job, not just boxing out, but going and getting the ball. That's been our problem, is we turn and check out, but we don't always go and make the next effort and go and grab the ball. That's a big part of it. And then from an offensive standpoint, we got to stay in a good pace ourselves, and I think that's when we play at our best. We got to share the ball, and we got to move them and make them really work on the defensive end, because that's not their strongest suit. They're 299th in defense overall in the country. So if we can score and then we can set up our defense, we're going to be in a good spot.
Okay. And my other thing that I'm going to get on here is who are going to be the key players off each team to watch.
Well, if Duke Miles is playing, he's going to be the guy making them go. And then the 4-man, Kamani, is it Hamilton?
Hamilton. I'm
looking off of your paper right now.
Yes.
I don't know names, but yeah, he's their high major transfer. And then Benham is number 3. He's a shooter. He's straight
from Lipscomb. You could probably know that when you see that name. He's going to be a shooter coming from there.
So we can't let him get loose, and then we can't forget about Giffa coming off the bench.
That's my X factor right there.
Yeah,
I think he's the one. Again, because he's kind of like the igniter. That he's pretty good. He showed that stepping in scoring 29, but he's not started a game until that game.
Right.
It's the first start right there. But he's been right up there playing every game. And let's see, I'm looking at him right here, that he's averaging 14 a game coming off the bench, and he's like their second or third leading scorer coming off the bench.
I think he's the second leading scorer in Big South play right now, because he had so many big games, in the last 3 or 4.
That's right. Conference play there, though.
In conference play only. But so those guys, obviously, Thiem he was one of their returners from last year, and he's a Minnesota transfer originally, and he can get hot. We saw him get hot last year with them from three. But now this year he's driving the ball a lot more.
He shot 15 free throws the last game.
Yeah, he's being really aggressive off the bounce. So he's kind of changed himself. So they've got a lot of different weapons. So it's something that it's got to be a team effort where you can't forget who you're guarding, and you can't fall asleep at any point because they got weapons.
The thing that really surprised me too is they're probably the best free throw shooting team you've played so far, where you can't put them on the line,
right?
Because they'll take advantage of that though.
Yep.
So.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll look for those things on Wednesday night. We appreciate the heads up and tip. And Coach Garcia, Drew Garcia, the assistant head coach here at Upstate, has been our special guest with us today. And we want to encourage our viewers, come out to the Hodge Center. That it's going to be a great basketball game. I can tell you right now, I have a feeling it's going to be like the last two you played. Yep. I think it's going to go right down to the wire, because that's the way this conference operates. That, I mean, every game it seems like there's not many blowouts. It's close ball games there, though. Yep. And Lenny has set up some things. We've got tables right here. If you come to Sugar and Spice, you can get tickets. You can try to get the free tickets to come to the game and stuff like that. Nice. So there's no excuse for you not coming, for anybody not coming to the Hodge Center. Great basketball at this level. Again, the Spartans are taking on the number 13 ranked mid-division team right there. And again, I think it's going to be a heck of a ball game.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your time today. Good luck the rest of the season, and come back and see us again.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate
you have been watching the Coach's Corner live here from the Sugar and Spice Restaurant. We appreciate them hosting. We'll be back again next Monday afternoon, and we'll see who will be our mystery guest then, though.
All right.